Hey everyone, it's your boy Derek here, and I want to invite you to an exciting new series that we call the ArtistnMore Xperience. Now, we know that everyone is blessed with potential, but what you may know also is that not every potential is recognized and utilized fully. And that's why it is our goal on this show and with this company to introduce you to the people and the ideas that will help you in order to activate that potential and equip you with the tools in order to become influential by cultivating your dreams. We got an exciting panelist of amazing guests, artists, creators, and achievers for you that are going to be sharing their mindset, going to be sharing their experiences and their journey as to how they reach the pinnacle of their careers so that you too can also harness that and take that forward so you can also become influential. You can also be heard, you can be seen, and can be felt. So let's get straight into the series. Enjoy.
Welcome to my world, where I can be myself. I don't need nobody except the ones I love.
My name is Bridget Bringer, and I'll be your host. Starting off with this first experience, we have one of the most talented producers, rappers to come out of Sydney, Australia. If you haven't heard from him, you're probably living under a rock for the past decade. With us today, we have the one and only BLексSSXD. So what's been the biggest highlight of your year so far?
The biggest highlight of my year would be now I was gonna say something else. The biggest highlight of my year would be Paris Fashion Week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just being out there in February, right before the whole COVID hit.
Yeah.
And just like I was saying before, like having plans to do this and that really stemmed from that experience. Just being around, like some of the greatest fashion designers in the world, and just like that electric energy that they have out in Paris when it comes to that like fashion, when it comes to clothing, and just that whole aesthetic.
Yeah.
So like, that was 100% my biggest highlight of this year. But the year's still not over, so
Exactly.
I'm excited to see what.
Still got 2 more months to go. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
For real.
Okay, so let's get into your upbringing. So how did this whole music thing start for you? Where did it come from? Being an African kid living in Western Sydney, where did it come to your mind where music is what I want to do?
Music, like the passion for music stemmed from church. Obviously, coming from a very religious background and going to church every Sunday from, birth. And that's even where we met as well.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, same church,
Same
we
church.
see each other every Sunday,
Exactly.
even till this day.
Yeah. So it's like coming from that background, and music just being something is very foundational in Pentecostal. So, loving that and seeing the way that music touches people every Sunday, and every Sunday everyone has such a good time dancing and singing along, and that kind of just transferred into my everyday life and something that I built upon since a young age. So I can't really remember exactly when I started in being really engulfed in music, but it's always been a part of my life, and it always will be.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
and what about your family? How were they when it came to you doing music? Were they very supportive?
Look, honestly, they haven't been at the start. They weren't very into it because the musician's lifestyle, the artist's lifestyle, is very unstable, financially, and unstable just in terms of future and what you want to, sustain, having a sustainable lifestyle. It's very hit and miss. So they were more worried about, will I be able to put food on my own table type thing. But they saw how much passion and drive I've had for it, and how much work I put into music. I'm not one of those artists that just, hangs out all day, goes to parties and does this and do that.
Yeah.
I'm really focused, and I love what I do, so I do it, you know what I mean? But, as of late, my mom's been getting into it a little bit. So
okay.
I'm just glad to see that she likes the fact that I like something, what I mean? Yeah.
Nah, I understand that with African parents. There's always they want the best for you. They want to make sure you're secure and everything. And once they see that, okay, he's happy, this is what he's good at this, then they'll start to come around a little bit, they'll get used to it. Yeah, because at the beginning, it's just doctor, lawyer, all that kind of stuff. We want you to be rich, successful, all that kind of stuff. success comes from more than just like the money and the kind of job you have
100%,
as well.
yeah.
So no, that's wonderful. Your parent, because like there's a lot of artists out here where their parents are not supportive of them.
Yeah.
They don't believe in them, and like I believe it makes it really hard for you to move on and continue doing what you're doing in the music, because like when your family doesn't support you, it just kind of puts I feel like it'll put a burden on you as well.
100%. Yeah. It's like you need that foundation, you need that support to help you move forward, because in like any kind of creative world, it's very difficult to make an impact and to make a difference and to also make money on top of that. And not having, you know, the people that you love support you and push you forward for greatness can really hold you back. I feel like that. But it could go either way. Like it could turn you into like, I need to prove them wrong and I need to show them this and do this and that. But for me, it's always been like, I'm a very easygoing person. So it's like, it's either I achieve things I want to achieve or I don't, as long as I'm happy in the present.
Exactly.
And right now I'm happy. So
that's great.
That's all that matters.
Okay, so let's talk about your name. So there's so many names for you. Like, since I've known you, I've always just called you Sam. And then when you first came out, you came out as Miracle. You were doing music. You were doing your Party of the Year. You had Illa EP. You had is it Trash Music 1, 2, and 3?
I've got so many.
I remember the I remember the Sydney Girls. The song. Like me and my girls always on the bus going to school. You know, you're like ain't nothing like the Sydney Girls. I love that. It was so good.
That's awesome.
So you started with Miracle, and then now you're Blessed. How did that come about?
Okay, so the name change came about really, I was signed to Sony Music at a young age, like 17, 18. And I didn't really know myself. I didn't really know what I wanted. But the label thought they knew what was best for me or what was best to sell records or be on the radio. They think they know better, but they're not a part of the culture. So what could they say? But after leaving that situation and becoming an independent artist, I decided why not be as true to myself as possible and use my real name. And as you know, my name is Blessed Samuel. That's why you call me Sam. But for the rest of the world, I mean, not world, but the rest of the people that have known me as Miracle, they didn't really understand why I would change my name to Blessed and why I would change the music that I've been making that they know me for. And that's just because I grew as an artist and I grew as a person and I understood what kind of influence I wanted to make on the younger generation, what kind of influence I wanted to make on my own environment and community. And being a rapper or being a character to me isn't being an artist. Being an artist is being true to yourself, and what's more true to you than to use the name that you were given when you came into this earth.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much why I changed my name.
Okay, so like, as you said, you changed your name, so now your direction of music has changed now. What's the reception that you've gotten from that? Now that you're using your real name, you're making music that's true to you, what's the reception that you've got from people who's just always known you as just Miracle?
The reception has been mixed. A lot of people that have known me as Miracle, they want, that kind of party, entertainment rap, entertainment music. And I'm not an entertainer. I'm an artist, so I'm not here to make people dance. I'd love to make people dance because I love dancing myself, but that's not my purpose. So it's been mixed reviews. I mean, some people really appreciate the fact that I've turned away from everything that I was before and really found who I am. There's an empowerment in that, like the fact that some people can see what I've done and how I've made a change in my life. And hopefully that inspires them to make a change in their life and not be so influenced by the people that they're around and really look inwards and find who they really are and who they want the world to see them as. Yeah.
No, it's really nice to see because, like, as someone that's known you for years and, like, been a fan, like, it's really, I've seen your transition in music. I've seen your growth. And, like, when you did the whole name change, like, you know, there was a bit of, like, oh, what's happening? Something different's happening. Like, you know, like, not everyone's okay with change. Like, change is scary for people.
Exactly, change is scary.
Especially when it's not their own change. Like, it's your change, but it still affects them in some kind of way.
Yeah,
so it's weird. But, no, I just like it now. It's, like, you're very true to yourself, and as an artist you've kind of discovered who you are, what you want to say, what your vision is. And like, I think that's very inspiring for other people that may be lost as well. You know, they're doing what the label tells them to do, or what other artists or what other fans tell them to do. Oh, you should do this, you should do that. You can get really lost up in the hype and just kind of like start producing stuff for other people and not for yourself. Yeah. So no, like that's I definitely love that about you.
Yeah, there's this quote that I don't know who it's by, because I hate like quoting things and I don't want people to think it's from me. But there's this quote where someone says, there's only two paths you can take in life. There's the path that you choose for yourself and the path that other people choose for you. You know what I mean? And that's exactly like what you're saying. And hopefully, you know, my situation or just me as an artist inspires people to choose their own path.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I wanted to talk about your influences. So I've done a little bit of research, and your influences were Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Lil Wayne. How did those artists come to shape who you are, like, when it comes to music?
Through different, like, they're all so different.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They're so separate. So I'm just like, oh, these three.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, when I was a kid, I wished, you know, like when you're a kid, you want superpowers and whatever.
Yeah.
My superpower that I wanted was to take other people's powers. You know what I mean? Like, so like if you could fly and I couldn't.
I want to take that.
Yeah, so it's like we could both fly together.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like when it came to like artists like Kanye, I saw that he was very self-sufficient. He was a producer before an artist, so he could create the soundscape. He could make the music, pull these things together, and then rap on top of them. And then artists like Kid Cudi, who came from a very vulnerable, emotional, and like just a place of freedom where he could speak on things that like I'd be feeling certain ways as a teenager growing up, as you do. And he would almost narrate how I was feeling. And through a song, and I'd hear that and be like, wow, this guy gets me. You know what I mean? So like, that's kind of something that I took from Cudi, and then Lil Wayne being, you know, to me, he's one of the greatest rappers of all time. And just the way that he's able to find, like, he's free in the booth. He doesn't write down his lyrics. So everything comes from the inspiration of life. And that's kind of where I've taken that approach by watching, you know, all these three greats and picking apart what has made them great in my eyes and what I've connected with, and then putting that into my own music and into my own life. Yeah, so
when you say you're creating, what's your creative process? Do you have a process? Like, do you write your lyrics down? Do you type them up? Like, how do you do what you do?
My process is like, it's unexplainable. Like, it's so weird. Like, I guess I don't write lyrics, and that's because, you know, my influence being Lil Wayne. Like when Lil Wayne said, I don't write my lyrics, I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to write lyrics now, you know, I'm going to try to do that. And then that really opened a door or a gateway or something in my mind to like be more vulnerable, to be more in the moment. And like when I record, I sit down. So it's like, right now we're having a conversation. When I'm recording, I'm having a conversation. And, you know, the fans or the people who listen are on the other end of that conversation. You know what I mean? And then when I get to, like, you know, a conversation is back and forth, back and forth. So when I'm recording, that's my part of the conversation. And then fans send me DMs and messages of their part of the conversation. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So it's like my creative process is all over the place. It's just total freedom. It's total freedom. I don't believe in any rules. I don't believe in how things are supposed to be done. And I wasn't brought up on that because I haven't had any formal education on music. Everything I've learned is from YouTube.
No, I feel the same way. So I don't know if you're okay about talking about this, but I heard that you also have dyslexia. I do. I also have dyslexia as well. So like we experience things where like numbers and letters just kind of jumble in front of you in your head. Like nothing makes sense.
Or
like,
even you read it clearly in your head, but you say it out loud.
And then it's completely different. Yeah. How does that, like, has that affected you in your music at all? Like, has that hindered you at all?
I guess when I first started making music, it hindered me because just like I was saying with the writing lyrics, like I used to write, you know, verses. I used to I wanted to be the best rapper. So that was my mindset to, you know, be the most intellectual, the most clever or funny and all these kind of things in one. And I'd write down, you know, rhymes upon rhymes upon rhymes. But when I'd get to the booth to rap them, like they wouldn't come out like natural because I'd really have to think about what I've written. Yeah. So it's like, that's another reason why I stopped writing lyrics.
And hence why you don't write the lyrics because you write them down, but when you come to say it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, exactly. It feels forced. It doesn't feel natural. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but public reading, like back in high school when you'd have to read something to the class.
Yeah, I hate it.
Whenever it was my turn,
Yeah.
it was just cringe, and I could feel everybody else was cringed.
Yeah,
about
your
it, you know
heart
what I
is
mean?
racing. You feel like everyone's watching you. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's my turn to read this line. And then, like, you try and read it as slow as you can, try and take your time. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, it's stressful.
It is stressful. and
Yeah.
I don't want to feel that with music. Like,
Yeah.
I want it to be effortless. I want it to be as natural as possible.
So tell us about your song, Sora. So that song, I feel like everyone knows that song. Like,
Yeah.
that's a big song. The words in there are very deep. What you're saying is deep. Like, tell us more about the song and, like, how that came about.
Well, that's a song. That was probably the first song that I made that I didn't write the lyrics to. That was like, it wasn't, I wouldn't say freestyle. It was more so lines came to me and I recorded them as they came. And that was, I mean, I was going through a deep depression at that point. My family was living in Perth. I was living with family, friends. And I was just around a lot of different negative energies. Like, I'm not saying my family friends. My family friends were lovely. Like lovely that they took me in, lovely that, and I love them so much and respect all of them. But I was just going through things internally that I couldn't really explain. I couldn't really figure out how to get out of this rut or this like shadow that was over me. And that song really helped me release that energy. You know what I mean? And I felt like that song, just from making the beat to writing the song to recording, all of that, it all happened within a few hours.
Oh, wow.
And then that same day I uploaded it onto SoundCloud and then out of nowhere just got a lot of attention. Like, it was all just
It ended up on Netflix.
Yeah, it ended up on Netflix.
Your song ended up on Netflix. It ended up on my blog.
Yeah,
the
on my
show.
blog,
Oh my
yeah.
God. When I heard that song, I was like, wait. I was watching the show and I was like, this sounds familiar. I'm just like, And then all of a sudden I heard your voice. I'm like, oh, like Netflix, bro. That's big. How did that happen? Like, did they contact you or they just used it? Like, did you know?
They contacted me. I don't even know how they heard it. It's just, that's what it is. That's the power of music. It's like you create it, you put it out there into the world.
And anybody can just take it, interpret it, you know.
Exactly, and connect with it and resonate with it in different ways. And I mean, I've been very fortunate, very blessed to have like this, just to be on this journey and just to have my music reach people in, you know, certain positions. I could put it on Netflix, certain position I could put my songs on video games like NBA 2K. And it's just
Is your song on there?
Yeah, I've got another song on there.
Which one?
Superfly.
Oh my gosh. Which 2K?
2K20. So it's like this year's
Look
a
at
good
you,
year.
sir.
You know what I mean?
Okay. That's so good. So let's talk about your faith. So if no one knows you as an artist, like, it's pretty obvious that, like, your faith is really, how do I explain this? Your faith means a lot to you.
Yeah.
Tell us how that works in your music and who you are as a person.
In my music, you can already tell that I'm different from other artists. Just based on, one, the content of my music, the message behind my music, and even my delivery, I feel like is different to most artists. And that's not something that you would, you know, like off the bat identify with, oh, he's a Christian. But you would identify that with, I have some kind of spirituality or some other faith that has made me understand that it's like my ego or who I am as, you know, this human earthly body is not the most important thing in this universe. It's minuscule. And like being an artist is very like, it's a balance between that ego and that like that drive for greatness and that aspiration to deliver something to the earth and leave a mark on it, you know what I mean? But then me being a Christian, me putting God first in my work, in my life, in the way I communicate with people, has really like, I feel like there's an evident nature of being a child of God, you know what I mean? Being like someone who is different from other people, whether it's like, you know, me not swearing in my music unless I'm really mad and I'm trying to say something, you know what I mean? But like just the way that I approach music, the way that I approach people in general, people have always seen me as someone who's like just different, whether it's weird different or if it's a good different, I'm just different. And that's kind of what, I mean, that's as you know, growing up in the church, that's what I was taught. I was taught to be different. I was taught to try to be a light in the darkness. And you know, I try my best. I'm not saying I'm you know, holy this or holy that. Like I fall short every day, but as long as I'm trying, that's all that really matters.
And how is it being in the music industry and being a Christian? How have you managed to find the balance between being a child of God and also doing your music as well in a industry where God may not always be the forefront?
Yeah, well, I kind of see myself as someone who's not in this industry, even though I am. Yeah. Like, I really feel like I'm creating my own industry with my community, with my close friends, with people that have a similar message and understanding of, you know, who they are and what they want to bring to this world. So, like, in terms of the industry, like music industry here in Australia, I was never going to fit in because I'm not a social person. I'm an introvert. I like to keep to myself. I like to keep to my very, very small social circle. And that's always kind of held me back from maybe achieving certain things in this country because it's all about nepotism. It's all about being buddy-buddy with this guy or this girl.
You know, who can get you where you need to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like in the Australian industry itself, like you've been signed to Sony. So what advice would you give to other artists that are like looking to get signed and trying to like put their foot into this industry?
I guess the advice I'd give to younger artists is to, first of all, you need to know exactly what you want. Because if you really want to step into this industry, you got to understand that there's the business side and there's the creative side. Someone like me, I've always been a part of the creative side. And only recently I've been getting into the business side because I want to give, you know, younger artists the opportunity to create in an environment that doesn't like drain them of their energy. You know what I mean? And doesn't take from them.
Yeah.
Like,
so what's the business side?
The business side that I'm getting into more so is like the record label side where I started my own label, but like within my label, I'm not trying to sign artists and earn their masters. I'm not trying to I'm trying to empower artists. I'm trying to give them a leg up to create their own. You know what I mean? Because it's all about ownership and it's all about it's all about ownership and empowerment. And as a young artist, I feel like if I was taught that from an early age, my life would be completely different.
You got a new album coming out.
Music is medicine.
Music is medicine. And you have a song called Antidepressant on the bottom.
Yeah, the last song.
Speak about that. Like,
okay, so
is it,
the last song is, the whole project really is, you know, music is medicine. It's very self-explanatory, but there's also a science that goes into it. There's also a science about music that even musicians don't understand because it's so, I guess it's such a hidden philosophy, or it's such a subconscious, I'd say a subconscious feeling that you get from music. And the song that you're talking about, Antidepressant, is really about just loving yourself before loving others. Because you can get lost in loving other people, you know. And in our society today, in this generation, it's all about loving others and getting love from other people. It's not about that self-love and loving yourself and knowing that if I treat myself with respect and with love, other people will treat me with that same respect and that love. And that you shouldn't compromise that for other people, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So, Antidepressant is really just about really understanding that that you don't need to be on antidepressants to get out of depression. It's about self-love, self-worth, and knowing who you are. And, you know, the whole project, the whole mixtape is really about pushing that message of, you know, music is also a key that can help you unlock certain things. Like, I mean, when I'm sad, I listen to music. When I'm happy, I listen to music. When I'm angry, I listen to music.
Whatever emotion I'm feeling, there's always a song or some kind of playlist for it. Always.
Exactly.
You know, always. Like, you could even just sit there to listen and just zone out and just forget where you are sometimes. Like, 100%. I've had that experience before as well. So, like, as you said, like, music is definitely medicine. It definitely influences your emotional state as well. Yeah, for real. Negatively or positively. Yeah, as well. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate for opening up. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And yeah, this is our first experience. Thank you for coming and bye.
Peace.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, why don't you leave a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe.